morning. Welcome to Flat Earth Early Bird number 2701. I'm your host, Arwin. And before I start the show, please don't forget to share it on any platform you deem fit. And if you haven't already, follow me here on Rumble and be here when I'm going live, which is normally 2 p.m. Amsterdam time every day. And please also do support me through the gift card, PayPal, Patreon, Gifts and Go. Links are on the description box below, or send me super chat over at the Rumble live chat when the show is live, or subscribe to my channel and support me that way. Any support would be greatly appreciated. I could really use it. Please support your local Arwin, guys. Anybody? Oh my god. Just be like that fly. It insists on hanging around here. Hold on, I'm gonna get him out of here. Why do they do this? Come here. Get out. Sorry. I think it might be gone. I hope it is. It's just really tedious. Big fly. Loud. I mean, it's not aggressive or anything, but it's just... Anyway. Right. The weather. Different. It is a bit warmer than it was yesterday, definitely. But again, there are some clouds. And there's some blue sky, but unfortunately there's also very blatantly trails. Can you see that? In between us, you can just see those lines across the blue part there. There are trails out there, unfortunately. It's the second day in a row. I mean, why? I really wonder. Maybe they're like just trying to make it rain or something. Because it's not like, oh, we really needed that extra cloud cover. There is clouds everywhere and it's not that warm, so thinking maybe they're just trying to induce rain. On the other hand, they might also be just kind of attempting to spray us with some stuff to get us sick again, because there is a lot of like sniffiness going around because of just the temperature swings. And then sometimes they like to just like sprinkle something extra on top to just get you really sick, and then you go to the doctor or to buy some kind of crap, and that way they make money. So that stuff really never really actually gets to me though. Just the temperature swings, that does. But I mean, the only time I think I was actually really influenced was in 2019. It was like right before the Amsterdam Flat Earth Conference, where I met Nathan and all that. And then like there was like this ton of really thick ass chemtrail spraying, and then it got like really rainy, and then everybody got sick, like pretty badly. Like I had like full-blown flu basically, without really serious fever or anything, but it was pretty serious. Like the last time I had a really serious type of what I would call flu and not just the sniffles. And after that, I've never really experienced that again. I mean, the irony was just crazy. Like we just got sick. Like wasn't just me, but everybody just got sick like 2019. And people were talking about it, like what the hell was that? There was also a suspicion that my 5G might have something to do with it, because that was like getting launched all over the place. And it could have something to do with it. But then, of course, after that, there was the whole 2020 pandemic, oh, and literally nothing. I had nothing. And nobody that I met had anything. But then at some point people started to just wear the masks, and I mean, people weren't even having colds or anything. It was just ridiculous. It was just such a ridiculous contrast with 2019 when I got really sick and a lot of people got sick, and it's just nobody said anything. Like, no emergency, nothing. No, like, hey, everybody's getting sick. Why is that? No, nothing. And then in 2020, suddenly nothing was there, and they start rolling out this bullshit. It's just like, it's just really tedious. It pissed me off because it just felt like it was like this overt gaslighting by government to me. It was no mystery about it. Like, oh, is it real? Oh, do we really need to worry? No, it's just like, no, it's absolutely fucking fake. Like, the whole fucking thing. And I mean, yeah, some people suddenly get like breathing trouble. It could be all kinds of things, including like 5G rollout stuff, whatever, tests, something they spray. It's just, it was nothing. It was barely anything. But I guess they were mostly just hyping up like the, ooh, comorbidity if you're like at risk. It just became this whole thing. If you are at risk medically, then you really need to be careful with this. I don't know anybody that's like really at risk medically. It's just, ugh. Anyway. Yeah, spraying, you never really know what it's for. But I think in this case, they might just be trying to like make it rain. Because they're certainly not doing it to cover up the sun, because the clouds are already doing that. And I really hope it's not some kind of medical thing. It makes me think like and this is hyper theoretical, I'm not even saying this is anything about this is real, but I mean, sometimes it gives me the feeling like they're just spraying over the clouds and that they're like trying to make the clouds into a vaccine instrument or something. I mean, that is something they would try to come up with. That is very Bill Gatesian type of thinking, if you know what I mean. But I mean, it wouldn't actually work unless it's just like try to spread certain particles that don't break down. But if as soon as it just becomes anything biological, it just makes no sense. It doesn't work. You don't get infected like that. The only way that happens is if they spray right over you. Like, they spray a lot and then they spray it like right over you, which means it's like they're flying 20 feet over you. It's basically like they would do pesticide crop spraying. Like, that's the only way any sort of biological warfare agent would be made effective. If they do it up there, it's no way. There's no way that can even survive. I mean, unless they like spray fungi or something. But I mean, even that, yeah. I'm very hard-headed about that biological material that goes way up there in the free open sky. Like, it just doesn't have a chance. There's a lot of energy up there, and that alone should like have an influence on particulates. And it's very cold because it's much colder than down here up there. And so all of that, it just doesn't make it suitable. Like, it might be suitable to like spread fungi or bacteria or something, or materials like graphene, that kind of thing. But other than that, it's just like, oh, a vaccine instrument? They can't work. It's just like the whole idea of like, oh, mosquitoes, they're like a vaccine machine now, thanks to Bill Gates. Is this just a myth? Like, it can't work. Like, the worst they could do is just like have some poison or whatever that's or agent, like it's a coagulation agent that mosquitoes basically put in you, like so that the blood doesn't coagulate and they can slurp it up. While they do that, they can just like slightly chemically alter that maybe. And yeah, parasites can be deposited. That's like how malaria works. But it cannot be made into like vaccinate against something. Like, it just doesn't work. Like and especially mRNA like modification type vaccine, which is like the COVID vaccine, all the modern shit. They're really trying to like update everything into that, which is the worst idea ever because it doesn't actually work at all. Unlike, well, previous things that arguably may work somewhat. It's like kind of like, I'm kind of neutral about that. I'm basically anti-vax entirely, but I mean, some things the old-fashioned way, like, okay, I don't really know. I'd say probably not, but I mean, there's could be something to it. But the mRNA, the whole thing about it, and like even during the COVID vax era, that stuff spoils. Like, it has to, like, you have to keep it in very specific type of conditions, like in the freezer or something, from what I heard. It has to be just the right temperature, because if the temperature like becomes too warm, it breaks. It basically no longer even functions as it's supposed to, right? Okay, if they have to have that precise a condition for these things, to have them right before they inject them into you, for them to supposedly do what they were designed to do, how the hell are they gonna maintain those conditions in a frickin' mosquito? It makes no sense. It's wrong. It can't be right. It just can't. It makes no sense. The worst they could ever do is just have some other kind of parasite in there, like malaria, or just modified malaria, or another type of parasite. They might transplant some kind of weird parasite from another creature to a mosquito or something. They might try all kinds of things, right? Gain of function. But an mRNA altering vaccine in a mosquito, it's physically impossible. And it's like, nobody ever says anything about it. And I'm so weirded out by that. Like, why aren't people pointing this out in the medical field? And like, nobody actually even addresses this when I bring it up. There just seems to be all these myths. It's like part of Bill Gates and what he does. It's not just like push the frontiers of medical science and vaccination and genetic alteration. Apparently, it's not like just doing that, and he might be doing actually some of that. A lot of it just seems like he's spreading medical fear, like he's trying to seed hypochondria culturally. And I mean, well, why would you do that? Well, to make people more afraid of medical things, might make them hypochondriacs, and then they are more inclined to bother the doctor, which originally used to be very annoying for doctors, and they would be like, oh, not him again. Okay, yeah, there's nothing wrong with you, go away. Right? But now the newer doctors might be more basically pill salesmen compared to old-fashioned doctors. I don't really know. I haven't been to a doctor in ages. Last time I went, it was a complete waste of my time. Literally a waste of time. I was more medically qualified than that frickin' doctor that supposedly that I consult. It really, like, it was just a connection person. They didn't actually know anything. It was so stupid. It's just like, this is all wrong, right? But hey, maybe more hypochondria will send more people their way, and then they can try to trick those people into buying big pharma stuff. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's what Bill Gates is actually for. To basically scare people with open biological terrorism, masked as philanthropic medical research, and not even doing that much. And I mean, there are some things that he does do, like the alpha-gal ticks is one of them. Although, again, it's like a combi thing. But still, like, that's no good. That is... And I think officially also the original premise, like, doesn't work out. So it's like a flop, officially, in a way. Look, it's gonna do things that are not actually the original premise. Because they supposedly were just trying to breed ticks that wouldn't bite cattle. Yeah, that's actually the original premise. It wasn't the intent, like, oh, spread this around and then give everybody beef allergy. That's not, like, in the business plan of that operation. But it is obviously the consequence of it. But so it is technically like a flop project in a way. It has a lot of bad side effects, right? So, oh, by accident. It breeds conspiracy theory enormously with good reason, and you should, because he is like doing this sort of thing. He is conspiring. He is openly anti-human. He wants population reduction. He brags about it tons, right? But I do think that a lot of it is actually just to seed hypochondria, to make people more dependent on doctors, so that they can be sold more big pharma products, basically. I think that is actually part of it. I'm gonna put that in the title because I think that's actually really good insight. That's something that's worth addressing. Right, so yeah, we got a title for today's show. It's very biological. Right, so is Bill Gates secretly a medical terrorist or a psychological operation to create more hypochondria? Cloud vaccinations and why mosquito-delivered mRNA vaccines can't work. Right. So yeah. Sometimes I talk about this stuff. I used to actually talk a lot about it in 2020 and got away with it on YouTube for tons. All I just had to do was not say the word vaccine, not say the word COVID, and avoid saying like take the vaccine and die because I did actually. I was so pissed off that people were just like, oh no, you gotta take it, and it's just like, okay then freaking take it and die, because I was already seeing like videos of like people just that had taken it dropping over dead and just getting thrown at you, and then people still like, I'm gonna take it, and like, okay, well yeah, take it and die then. I guess it's your time to go then. And yeah, a lot of those shows actually then got strikes for medical misinformation and blah blah blah. So I had a ton of those videos, daily early bird shows removed. Now of course that's all not really relevant anymore since the entire thing got taken down. But hey, I can still think back to it and talk about it, and people were there live watching, like they were with, a lot of people were with me, like, oh my god, what's happening to the world, what do we do? It seemed like it was the end, not as in, oh, we're all gonna die from a disease, but rather they're going to like lock us up and then like give us like a euthanasia kind of vaccine. That's really the idea that I was having. Like, I was terrified. I knew like as long as I just don't cooperate, I'll survive. But I was just afraid, like, man, is like half of humanity gonna die now because they're gonna take it? I was just terrified. That was the end of humanity, and it's fortunately not been that bad, but I mean, a lot of damage has still been done. Like, tons of people died. Not like 20% or something, but still a lot, and a lot have had survived and have medical problems now, and it's so many that there's just like a default taking it into account that you could have medical problems, because a lot of people now do, in all age categories. Like a lot of young people took it too. They're gonna have medical problems like this potentially the rest of their lives, and some of it might be neutralized at some point if they figure it out, find the right alternative doctor that's figured out how to deal with some of it. But a lot of them will not. They will just carry it along the rest of their lives. I have a strong suspicion that one of my roommates has a medical problem like that. Like, she is always coughing, not like coughing her lungs out, but like I can hear her coughing like every day, and I mean every day. Every day, winter, summer, spring, autumn, all of it, every day. I've not heard her not cough like for a day, like ever since she moved in here, and she had taken the shots like twice or 3 times, I think. She was like holding on to it, but a lot of people stopped it, and she like doesn't do that anymore either, because she must realize like there's just something wrong with this. But I mean, she's like always coughing now, and that's like, to me, that's obviously because of the medical experiment that she subjected herself to. And she's not the only one. There's a lot of people that just like now they call it long COVID, but it is vaccine damage. Like, so it's an item, and yeah, I know somebody that has it. Live under the same roof. So damage has definitely been done. And I think like a whole layer of people have probably died off and just kind of quietly slipped into forgetfulness with everybody. Because there's a whole bunch of people that I don't see anymore. Like, I don't know what happened to them. Because I kind of keep track on like who walks by, who's like in the neighborhood, and there's just a whole bunch of people that I haven't seen in years. And not all of them, of course, but there's just a whole bunch. It's like, oh, they're all suddenly gone. They might have died. Anyway. And it's not like everybody talks about it. Like, it's... people don't even want to, like, suggest that it might be because of the vaccine. Almost like it's... they would have thought of it, but it's like almost like a shame. So they just say like, no, it's just complications or something, or just a heart attack, or like nobody actually wants to admit that it was from a vaccine, a supposed vaccine that's not actually a vaccine. Doesn't classify by the original principles of what a vaccine is, by the experiment. Right. Anyway, sorry to pull you all into this subject. It's not the most pleasant. I definitely don't like talking about it regularly, but it is a subject that keeps coming back, and so it has to be gone through every now and then. What? Okay, that's interesting. Apparently, there have been more than one giant found in Afghanistan. That was known by the US military, because the US military bumped into this giant. It was all over the news back then. It was like this novelty item. Like, of course, caught my attention big time. Like, they found like a real big giant. It attacked them. They killed it. They drug it off. Like some guy. I played that video here on the show like a week ago or something. And they carried it off to some base and you never heard from it again. But apparently there's been more than one giant encounter. Like, not of the same, but of another. And I think the other might have gotten away. And like the military doesn't want to... they're like keeping shut about it. So there might still be a living giant society or something. I mean, that would be amazing. I mean, that would be really, really amazing. If there's still like actual giant tribes in Afghanistan. Oh my god. I mean, they're not gonna be hyper civilized or anything, but it's still, it's just marvelous. I mean, guys, that's like finding a living dinosaur, basically. Except it's not fake. Yeah, but I mean, that's how I think of it. How cool would it be, right? If one day it's not like, oh, aliens came down with the craft and like, we've come to Earth, we want peace. But instead it's just like, okay, hi, I'm a giant from the past. Or rather, like, I'm a giant. We've been like isolated forever, but now here I am. Like, just Just leave us alone, please. But I mean, that wouldn't happen if they did that. But it would be pretty amazing. I, for one, am for... it's a bit of a joke, but I am very much for diversity. And I would love to have to welcome giants back among us. But I mean, they can't be like barbarians. They gotta actually be able to adapt civilly to do that. And they might not want to. Maybe like they've been isolated for so long from humanity that they're like, no, we don't want to be like that. We want to be natural. We want to be more like animals. And okay, then please stay on your own turf then. But if they could actually adapt to civilization, that would just be so epic. Wow. I would be absolutely thrilled if it's within my lifetime I could actually like meet a real living giant. And I'm not talking about Owen Benjamin, which would be cool too to meet him, but like a giant that is like, I don't know, 6 meters tall, something like 6 meters would be epic. If it was a 20 meter, but I mean they're not around really anymore. It's like atom size, basically like a titan. But I think maybe like a 6 or 7 meter tall giant might still be within the range of possibilities within my lifetime to meet something like that. That would be just absolutely marvelous. And yeah, I think they are still out there, but probably not on our map. They might be in like South Antarctica or underneath somewhere. They might just be out there. But apparently in Afghanistan there is still just inside of the mountain there might be a tribe there. But I mean, they have bewildered. They basically turned into hill giants. And yeah, that's like a D&D cosmology monster manual understanding thing. It's like you have all kinds of giants. Like some are really tall. And then the smaller they get, typically the more barbarous they get. And hill giants are like the smallest type of giants. And they are like barbarian... They're brutes. But yeah, there are like also other giants that are much taller, that are really civilized, that are basically like ancient Greek gods, something like that. They draw them with the pictures like that. And hey, that would be amazing. But yeah, I don't know. I think that those in Afghanistan are basically more like hill giants. Thus far. They're not like this amazing looking advanced giant society or something. But that might be out there. I mean, it's written about that in Arborea there might be giants that are all basically Tartarian remnants, that have their own civilized society isolated from us somewhere. Anyway, yeah, the world's not yet completely vacated of wondrous things. And I've always been drawn to giants. And large people too. Like, unlike some gravelers out there, I'm not actually afraid of tall people. I tend to like really like them. Like, guys like Haaland, right? He's very tall and I'm just like, oh, so awesome. It's like descendants of the giants. But I mean, there could be like even bigger people out there. And where it's not just like a growth anomaly, where they just have gigantism, which is like very burdensome because their body's not actually designed to handle that amount of growth. So they often have physically tough lives, logically, right? I mean, you'd have to have like a lot of energy in the air, like with the giant Tesla coil or Tartarian architecture with the copper spires and all that, or a activated pyramid Tesla coil thing, for them to live comfortably with how the world works now. Right. Anyway, yeah, from bioterrorism to giants. Yeah, I got a couple of clips, not a lot. Didn't really go digging all that much. And it was just a lot to watch yesterday. Owen Benjamin had a great show with Christopher Gardner. The biochar, man. That was pretty awesome. Yeah. I mean, that guy's like really into like heavy esoteric astrology and all that. And it's very interesting what he has to say, because he just made like some sort of map out of it for himself, and it's very interesting pointers, whatever he has to say. Right. Right. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great Thursday today. Feel pretty good. Let's take a look around. What's going on? Oh, an article about Bill Gates. Talk about the devil, and an article just appears like that. Like that's just in. Wow. Yeah, this article's about that apparently the Gates Foundation had 30 meetings with Epstein after there was alarm, like, publicly about it. Between 2011, 2014. Like, basically, it's supposedly proving that Bill Gates knew what Epstein was doing, and he still kept doing business. And I mean, duh, but like apparently they're putting together evidence for this. Because I mean, there's people going after Bill Gates legal, like through the legal system, a lot. Like it's already happening in the Netherlands. He's been convicted, I think. And America's doing stuff too, and like so, his time is drawing to an end. I'm not saying like quick, but it is now, like it's starting to creep up on him. The law's catching up on him, as they would say. Everything that he's done, and he's done a lot of crazy shit. But I mean, the biggest damage though to humanity that he's done overall is vaccine related, and not just the COVID vax, also like horrifying vaccine operations in Africa and all that. Tons of people died from it. Like, he's been at it for a long time. Huh. That's kind of interesting. So apparently China is moving to, well, create a Catholic church in China, state controlled. So they're basically allowing religion back in. That's interesting, but I mean, of course it had to be the fucking Vatican, right? I mean, yeah, of course. Freedom of religion. Okay, well, let's legalize Satan. Basically. I'm not saying that all Catholics are Satanists, but I mean, you all know about the Vatican. But I mean, expected though, in a way, because like there were like Jesuit relations with the CCP and all that, and it's like communism. Like I've argued that communism was actually an invention that also comes from Catholicism, rather from the Jesuits. It's partly their invention. So I'm not surprised that the communist regime would allow the Vatican to basically start up that religion, because it is basically related to communism, even though communism, the old-fashioned version, is like really anti-religion in general. So, but yeah, interesting development. Not necessarily good. But maybe something good could come of it. But it could also be that they're actually gonna use that church to basically go full Inquisition on every religious group out there that is trying to pull through. Who knows what they'll do. Huh. Right, but I mean, it might be the start of a good thing, right? We're in the West here, we are kind of taught that everything related to China is always doom and gloom, but that does seem to be propaganda. I just try to be as neutral and fair as possible now when it comes to China, and like, yeah, they definitely do bad shit. But it's not all bad, though. They have a lot of success stories, too. Like, compared to the West, they're actually doing quite well in China. But that's because the government is not actively trying to squeeze everybody out of the ability to do anything. Like, that's really happening mostly in the West. Yeah, that nothing really stands out news-wise. I mean, the thing about the yeah, Chinese Catholic Church, like that is kind of interesting. Although I don't understand why they wouldn't do like Eastern Orthodox Church. Like, isn't that like a big part of China? Also, it's called Eastern Orthodox for a reason. It's not just Russia. But I don't know. Maybe I'm incorrect about that. But I do know there has always been like a Jesuit relation with China for a long time, like even from before the Communist Revolution there, the Maoist Revolution. Anyway. It is kind of funny because a while back I was just like addressing China, like, hey, yeah, China, like, could you like take it easy on religion a bit? Just like let it back in. Like, you'll be really respected for that. Although they wouldn't want to typically, because they are like almost phobic against religion with the CCP. But it's very typical to see that they're now like allowing the Vatican basically to meddle with them. Like, that's a noteworthy development. But you gotta wonder, like, are you really sure about that? You might get sorry over doing that. But I mean, maybe they won't. Maybe they're just doing business, dark business with them. Because the Vatican is also just like a lot about human smuggling and all that. So maybe that's sounds crazy, but maybe they just like need the Vatican's human smuggling business acumen, because they have like, I don't know, children to export and they want to make money out of it. This sounds really fucking dark, but I mean, that could be it. Don't underestimate like how psychopathic they can be about that sort of thing, CCP. They just seem to treat humanity as furniture when it comes down to it, and it's convenient to them. So yeah, that could also be it. But anyway, it's a development, and I'm gonna keep my eye on that, see what happens. Is anybody out there this Thursday? Hope you're enjoying the show. Oh, I got a croissant, by the way. Just thinking, oh man, I'm so hungry. Oh yeah, that's why I got a croissant. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Cheers. Woohoo. Let's play some clips.
My hedge fund and I are shorting the AI bubble. We've come to the conclusion that AI is totally unsustainable and actually a bit of a massive scam. You see, the people behind it are delusional. They say things like, oh, my large language model is hallucinating. That was an hallucination. No, it made a mistake, okay? The thing you're making made a mistake. The thing that cost £1 trillion to build out made a mistake. Because it's just predictive text. It's just autofill. That's all AI is. It's autofill like you have on your phone, except they've hooked it up to a bunch of GPUs in the desert, in Texas, and now they're calling it conscious. It's self-aware. It's not self-aware! It's not self-aware. You just made it so good at stealing information from the internet and regurgitating it back to you that now you believe that it's conscious. That is so embarrassing. Everybody involved in AI is so embarrassing, and this crash is going to be the most embarrassing crash of all time. Anthropic, OpenAI, they haven't made a penny. They haven't made a penny in profit. They just burn more and more money with promises of a AI revolution. Absolute bollocks, okay? I won't stand for it anymore.
Yep. He's not wrong. Did I play this one yesterday?
What if the New York City subway...
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah. Another one of these. Sometimes I bump into these. Some of them are good, some of them are meh. Thought this one was good.
Jung's most dangerous discovery
wasn't
about mental...
Yeah, I forgot. It's 36 minutes. I'm not gonna play that. I put it here for reference. It's really good though. Overall, I'm not sure. Did I actually watch it all? I'm not sure. I'm just gonna share the link for those who want to watch the whole thing here in the Rumble chat, so you can watch it on your own time. But I mean, it is pretty interesting. Oh yeah, that was great. This seemed interesting, and I haven't actually watched it yet. It was in a recommendation through Discord. Some of the guys, somebody recommended it. Subverted history, like a more elaborate work about the time dislocation, the 1,000-year inserted time, and like probably mostly about that. And I'm just really fascinated to see what they put together about that. Right, and yeah, piece of music. This guy keeps popping. He just makes this amazing musical instruments. Makes it all himself. I just thought it was awesome. Let's play that. Epic, man. It's basically just a stick. The sound that came out of that was just amazing. Garrison Sheffield of Scissor Tail Flutes. Yeah, so he made scissor tail flutes. He makes a lot of this kind of instruments, and they're just brilliant. I love it when a new one comes in the feed. It's just like, oh, I made another awesome music instrument again. Right, hope you're all enjoying the show. Don't know if it's going to be a very long show. I do feel, that I've run out of subject to talk. But I've talked about so many different things already. Holy shit, 40 people? What the hell? Let's take a look. What are they doing? Oh, Nathan Oakley's in there. No wonder. It's probably why there's not a lot of activity here. They're all just there trying to get in. Just bicker. Oh, you're just talking over me. Mute button. Earth is measured flat. Celestial navigation is based on triangulating celestial sphere positions in relation to a flat plane. I mean, that's literally true. But just saying that will be met with great denial and distraction. And that's really what just Nathan's show is all about now, exclusively. It's just that. Just saying basic facts and then watching ballers just sputter into insanity and devilish behavior. That's it. Like, personally, I don't see why people even get drawn in that. Into like watching that. Like, oh yay, watching people go completely insane. Okay, but I mean, they'll stay like that though. They'll be doing it for months and then they'll kind of retract, try to forget about it, and then after like half a year they'll come back and they do it right again like nothing ever happened, and they'll do it another few months straight. And it's just, it never changed. These people are just acting out their insanity. They're not learning anything. They're in the entirety of their intellectual development is all about just negating reality. And that's it. Just reinforce the view and negate anything that contradicts it, and just never update. Only from within the perspective of the illusionary view, and that's it. And it just gets old, man. It got old to me like 8 years ago. But I still hung in there because I thought that there would still be possibility for other development. And then I just got scoffed at for that more and more. That's like, hey, why don't you want to just smash ballers? It's like, yeah, because it's a fucking waste of time. I don't want to waste my time like that. I just want to figure out what could be real. Like, what is this realm? Like, how is the layout? Why can't we find any maps that are of a consistent scale everywhere? Why does that not seem to exist? Like, I never really got an answer to that question from anybody. I've tried to figure it out, but it's still like this thing that's just like, wow, is it so complicated and in our faces at all time that just nobody can actually wrap their head around it to the point where they can find some kind of logical, consistent pattern that would reveal what these confines of the physical reality are really oriented like in its totality. What is the Euclidean model of reality? It's just nobody. Nobody. And then when I'm just like, okay, so maybe rectangular looping then, there's some people that are just like, yeah, that could be. And then there's people that are just like, no, that can never be, because that the whole looping, that makes no sense. Why doesn't it make any sense? Because it just doesn't. They don't even know why it doesn't make sense to them. It's just one step too far into thinking about physical reality differently, just to be able to figure out what the hell's going on. Like, the very place we live in, it shouldn't be this complicated to figure out like how it is. Like the Euclidean reality, how can we not just figure this out very quickly? And I know there's all these ballers, they're probably not here listening, they're all hanging over at Worldwide Debates with Nathan Oakley. Like, they're just like, but it's the ball's the only thing that's real, except it is not real. Scale inconsistencies just as much as any other map projection. And you put it in the ball, it just doesn't work, man. It really doesn't work. But they always say that it works. And that's so tedious. It's like, they're the cult that says, no, we figured it all out. No, you fucking haven't. It's a false victory claim-based cult. We know everything. No, you don't. Yes, we do, and we'll lie about it and pretend like we do and keep you busy until you lose interest. Because we know everything, and even when we don't, we'll still try to make you think like we do. And that's the ball cult. That's their entire premise. It's like, no, we figured it all out. No, you fucking haven't. Nobody has figured it all out. Maybe some people have actually figured it out, but then were wise enough to just keep it to themselves and be able to do that because they realized, okay, this is it. Well, nobody can actually accept that. And if we try to explain it, we'll probably lose our jobs and everything. Because it would just be too disruptive to the illusions that mankind's mind has become so dependent on just to get by, just to hold on to some perception of sanity within their daily lives. Right. But I mean, I think like rectangular looping is the thing that comes closest to it. But it can't help but just think like, okay, but if it is like that, then the very dimensions remain in question. Like, how do we know there's not more room to the north or to the south? Like, we've seen the map projections. What the fuck does that mean? Like, what does it mean on those maps? Was it literal? Like, what the hell did they mean with that when they did that on the maps? Where it's like shark-toothed. Is that like supposed to represent the shape of the firmament? Like, what does that mean? It's just not addressed anywhere. Like, on the maps even. They could have just made a note on those old maps like, yeah, this edge, this is what that stands for. And it would be all, it would just be freaking solved. Like, okay, now we just know what that means. But we don't. We don't know what the fuck it means. And so it just leaves open with the imagination, like, yep, right, this whole world, north or south, or both. But I mean, maybe we just can't really get there. Maybe it's inhabited by another civilization that does not want to open up to us. Right? Who knows? Who knows what is there? Maybe those areas are like off limits because they're the preservations or something, right? For species that have been, or groups that have been targeted for extinction for some reason by freaking social engineers or whatever, and that it's like, okay, you're sent to, let's just say, the Undying Lands, right? From Lord of the Rings, the elves go to the Undying Lands. It's basically off the known world map in another region, and just nobody knows anything about it, and it works differently there for some reason. The energy is different and you don't age or something. Well, maybe that is out there, and we would probably say, okay, that's actually the original paradise of Adam and Eve. Maybe that's out there. Maybe that's somewhere to the north. There might be whole groups of beings there that are just like, okay, we're out of the game. Like, we became extincted in the realm, this realm where we're living in, and they're just there to basically continue existing. And then when the game board is completely reset, when this era ends, they might be, if it is decided upon by whoever does that decision, they might get reintegrated and it might just suddenly reappear. Let's just say, like, oh, the world war, and oh my god, and everything gets blown up or not, or lots of people starve, and it's just like, okay, well, these storytellers completely blew apart. Like the main empire storytellers, like, they're all completely into chaos, and it's like weird shit starts to happen with UFOs and supposed time travel, and they get into a paradox that is just okay, like, the game is over and we're all just in like the post running situation, like we're still in the world, but it's like the game is over. And so then the game gets reset and we're just like, whoa, this place seems kind of different. And suddenly, like, oh yeah, here's those people. They're back now. It's like, well, what happened to the other people? Well, they kind of all, like, a lot of them got killed in the war, and like some of them have just like moved to other parts of the world, and they're just there now. And now this group lives here, just like in the olden days before they got extincted. It's like, oh, okay. So I guess the Tartarian giants are suddenly back. Could you imagine it, like the US, like, oh, it's all going to hell and zombies. And then one day it's just like, hi, yeah, we're Tartaria, we're back. Like, we've always been back. Like, what do you mean zombie apocalypse? There's nobody there. It's like, yeah. Like, were we like gone for 300 years? I think we were gone for 300 years. Okay, well, I'm glad to see that, well, at least like half of our buildings are still here. This new stuff just looks crappy. Okay, let's reinstall the copper spires, because we're starting to get hungry, being basically half giants, the Tartarians, some of them at least. And they're just like, okay, we're just gonna take up shop and be Tartari again. Oh, let's get the airships up and running. And they just go about again. It's like, oh, Tartari is back now? Like in the US? Oh, okay. That would be pretty cool. Right. I'm not saying that any of this will actually happen, but I mean, if things go completely out of control and it's like a massive die-off, and you feel, oh my god, the world's never going to be the same again. It's like we can't recover. It might be that the game just literally gets reset. I mean, this place is simulatory, and there might be things that are controlling it, and that there's like parameters and conditions, and if things escalate to a certain degree, it's just like, okay, end. And that doesn't mean everybody dies and it's all dissolved, but rather like the linear play forward development just gets halted, and then it's like, yeah, you can still do stuff, but it's like everything is halted. I mean, entropy might even be decreased in that situation where you're just not getting hungry or whatever for a while, and then just things get moved around. Entire groups just get moved in. Like, yeah, they just came from over there. They just arrived on boats, and now they're just moving in, and they're quickly building stuff. Like, really, like, subtly it's there. Like, what? And then, like, okay, back to play. We got the new setting, and then we go. And yeah, I guess this all kind of sounds a bit like Dark City. A little bit. But I mean, I think that this place might be like that to a degree. But Dark City is like very small comparatively. It's just like one city. But I think that the realm might work in ways like that, and that it does get managed from the other dimension. But hey, if I get anything to say about it, then whatever new setting is gonna come forth from the ending of this setting that I've been in all my life, I would definitely, if I could vote for getting some giants back, some civilized giants, and like, don't just like bring him back just to go extinct immediately. Like, actually make it durable. That would just be so cool. I mean, I don't think there's anybody that's been to like these ancient cathedrals with the giant doors that hadn't imagined, like, what if one day that door just and there's just this like 7-8 meter tall giant just walking through, like, hi, we're back. That would just be so freaking cool. But I mean, we better get the copper wiring and spires back online if that happens. Otherwise, they're just gonna turn into ravenous giants. Like, they need mana, they need to feed on the electric fields. Otherwise, they're just gonna start devouring everything, like it's described in the Book of Enoch. We don't want that. I mean, Tartaria had all that stuff for a reason. It wasn't just, oh, because it makes us feel good. And it's like, no, because it actually enables half giants to live that long, to grow, and not turn into ravenous monsters. Right. Anyway, hope everybody's having a great day, and you're appreciating my show. I mean, I do feel kind of inspired a bit. Holy shit. That's freaking hilarious. I gotta post this. Great. Let's check this out.
The shooter has finally been caught and identified and is under police custody.
I really hope he's not
The shooter
Muslim.
has been identified as 22-year-old white male Tyler Robinson.
Oh, thank goodness.
I was so worried.
The shooter, however, did convert to Islam just yesterday and changed his name to Abdul Rahman Ahmed Muhammad Allahu Akbar Ali Omar Yusuf Hamza Saeed Osama Obama Shawarma Homos Saeed Ibn Abdu bin Ibn Abu bin Bing Bong Bazooka Boom Boom.
Oh my god. That's a very long name. Oh, this is great. Sorry. I'm snickering over X videos, but I'm not gonna play it. It's really funny though. It's just not on the level for here. On the other hand, I just played that other one, but nah. Sometimes we do play some silly stuff. sometimes I bump into something that just piques my curiosity, but then I'm just like, no. Like it's AI, or it's just like I can't really be sure of that. They do lure you into just like, oh, just accept this immediately. And that's why I basically don't just scroll live. I have to like check the clips. Ooh. Oh, that's that. What is that? Holy shit. Yeah, awakened minds never ceases to amaze. Just check this castle. I don't know if there's any commentary. We'll find out right now. Oh. Wow. What is this? Scotland? Wow, amazing. Doesn't say where it is. Look at all the nonsense comments. My god, people are just never gonna change. Oh, they do change. It's always the same shit. People go through the same processes. Like a new individual comes on the scene and just like the same set of responses that another person had like 10 years before that. And another person 10 years before that, those people got over it. They figured it out. They're not going to have those standard responses anymore. And then they're going to look like, what the fuck, another person. And they're just doing exactly what I was doing 10 years ago. Why does it always take so damn long? But seriously, people just all have the same type of responses every time. Like even like when you see like flat earth versus globe debating going on anywhere right now, you could just put it right next to stuff that was happening in 2015 and 2016, 17, and it's basically identical. The way the things work, how they're going back and forth, it's gonna be the same. It's just another batch of people going through that process, and the responses is just going to be the same. And same goes with like the whole idea of Tartaria and the peak classical world that has been founded and then by Freemasons basically claimed, oh no, we built all that, we just built that, really. Just this monumental palace-like castle with incredible architecture and decoration. Yeah, we just built that in 2 years. Ah, really? We just built that, and that one, 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 and that one. We just did that. Really? Somehow. And this is people just can't handle it. They just can't. And they're just gonna keep responding in the same way. Making up excuses why they could. Oh, slaves! Oh, really? Slaves? How? How would slaves build? You could like literally bury the place in like millions of people. How are they gonna do it? Like, with what tools? What tools could they use that could lead to that kind of architectural perfection? There aren't any. Doesn't matter how many people you throw against it. It just doesn't work. But yeah, people just gotta figure it out for themselves. But I mean, I am very much through that phase, and I'm very certain. I'm very certain what roughly the history was like and how it was altered, how parts were rewritten, and yeah, I've imagined a lot, like what it was like back then, still having memories of the old peak Tartaria world before that, and there might have been all kinds of things wrong, might have been like pointless wars. Who knows what the hell was going on? Arrogance. Maybe the elite just got really foul and evil after a very long time of not being very pure and noble. Well, yeah. Who knows exactly how it ended? But people had the memories of it, or they would tell their kids stories, because storytelling tradition was still very much like parents onto children. That's how they did it back then still. Like the whole everybody has to go to school, that literally like came later. It didn't work like that. You had craft education classes perhaps, or just teacher student, and the rest you learned from your parents growing up. And so they would get some heads up like, hey, back then there was like this enormous kingdom and there was really advanced stuff, and then it fell and it all kind of goes away. And now the new kings and elites that aren't so sophisticated, they're just trying to pretend that none of that has ever happened. So don't talk about it in public or you might get arrested. But then, yeah, at some point it just kind of stopped. The tradition went underground, perhaps got assimilated in like secret vaults of Freemasons that would just keep the stories completely secret. But then the general public, like, it just went away. They couldn't hold on to it in secret, and it just went away. Kids lost interest, didn't see the priority of it, of learning it anymore, and then just the new worldview was embraced. And then the old world was forgotten. And that's kind of what it must have been like around the 18th century especially. I'm just always attempting to imagine what it must have been like if you were like, if you had lived through peak Tartaria and had rode airships and all that sort of thing, and then to just see that world fall and all of it just be taken away, and you're just wondering like, why aren't we using this? And just nobody answers, and you just never see it back again, and then you start to doubt your own sanity, like, did I dream that actually had happened? And then you look up like, oh wait, there's still the airship towers, but nobody uses them anymore, and when you ask, nobody even knows what they are. Must have been so strange. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna round out the show. It's definitely talked about more stuff than I can fit in the title, but as usual, the things that I talk about first are gonna be what the title is. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming. Hope you liked this show. If you did, then please don't forget to Rogans it up. And if you haven't already, follow me on Rumble and Beer when I'm going live, which is normally 2 p.m. Amsterdam time every day. And please also do support me through the Patreon gifts and go and show us when the show is live. Subscribe to my channel. Support me that way. Any support would be greatly appreciated. I can really use it. I'll be back tomorrow with Flat Earth Early Bird number 2702. Friday. Hope to see you all. Hope to see somebody show up in the chat. That would be nice. Have a great rest of this Thursday, and until the next video,
derp